Today I'm planning a trip to Clogherhead, 120 kilometers away from my house. There about 9 degrees Celsius. It was a very horrible weather over the weekend. Today is Sunday, but the weather shows some improvement today. I like when it's dramatic, but obviously it would be quite difficult sometimes to film in such conditions. Yeah, so this is basically the map of Clogherhead. I have a parking spot here near the Clogherhead cliff walk, or I can park at the Clogherhead beach car park. Whatever suits me. I'm not worried about free spaces. But this area is quite interesting because down the hill here we have the Port Oriel. So there are boats to photograph, there are those stones formation that can act like leading lines. There is this jetty going into the water. It's not quite a jetty, but we'll try to make it as a jetty. And hopefully from this angle we can take a minimalistic photo of the pier itself. Then we'll go back and we do the walk. Again, you see, those stones formations are quite nice because they act like leading lines. So we'll see what we can get. Long is not very difficult. I've been there before. Here is somewhere there is some sort of a fence. Sometimes it's quite difficult to go to the beach this way. But if that's a problem, we go back and we park the car somewhere here and then we visit the Clogher Bay Beach. Alright, so I'm setting up the camera for a long exposure of the Port Oriel. I'm on a slope, which I said I wouldn't do. Hopefully nothing will happen, but we have to be extra careful. So what happens is now I'm using the Lee filter, and obviously in the front goes the, what we call it as a Lee holder. What I'm trying to do basically is a 2-minute exposure. So for that I will need the 10 stop, and this goes into the closest slot. Now I simply set the camera to bulb mode. I'm setting the timer to maybe 10 seconds. Just need a remote control and away it goes.
couldn't find a much windier day. Obviously the landscape is gorgeous, but whoa, but the thing is that I can't really vlog or do anything. The wind is absolutely mad. The wind is mad, and a long exposure is absolutely suicide. It won't work. I mean, I don't know what kind of lens you need or to expose for 2 minutes. It simply won't work. Anyway, it is what it is. That's the beauty of landscape. That's the challenge. And just to conclude this vlog, just wanted to say again how important it is to prepare your shot, prepare the shoot, prepare for the weather, check your cards, format it, find the perfect format and plan ahead. Otherwise it won't be that great of experience. Weather here in Ireland changes, especially now in November. December is coming, January. It will be like this until March or April. It will start nicely and then it will turn into snow, and then sun will come up again and things like this. Nothing we can do. We have to live and embrace this. That's how we live here in this part of the world. But I'll surely return one day, probably in the summer and probably at the sunset. Hopefully I'll get a better weather than that. Let me just conclude this and I'll see you in the next one.